if you can build your own personal brand, that's just as important as a business
I remember being like, I posted and then the next day it had like 100,000 views and I was like, what? Who is the guy that gets stuck talking to a wedding? What is his job? Typically, everyone has been like, I work in private equity.
They're saying
Right.
by 2030, it's going to be 60% of all companies will be held by private equity. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Exit Rich podcast. I got a special guest here for you today. He's funny, charming, good looking, and we're going to talk about branding, and his social media is going through the roof, and he is through the roof, literally through the roof, growing to 196,000 followers on IG. That's about double me, so make me feel bad about myself right now. You know, let's everybody welcome Johnny Hillbrandt, and he's going to talk to you about private equity, how he started making fun of private equity, and his comedy skit. Johnny, thank you so much for being on Exit Rich podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Lance. Yeah, I'm excited to chat.
So you like to ding on private equity firms, which I'm not one, so at least I'm not in your crossfires. Well, I have a funny feeling I'm going to be, but that's all right. I can take it. You know, you like to rip on private equity. I mean, how did you, like, was there a moment where you're like, yo, these guys are private equity, or the snooze button, they'll make you fall asleep, or the know-it-all? Like, at what moment were you like, what's wrong with these people?
I think I think I developed a character as the guy who gets stuck talking to at a wedding. And I was like, this guy needs a job. And then I was like, who is the guy that gets stuck talking to a wedding? What is his job typically? And the last like few years, I feel like everyone has been like, I work in private equity. So initially it wasn't necessarily that like I find them all to be one way or the other. I just was like, all right, he's going to work in private equity. This character is going to have a job and I'm going to introduce it. So a couple of days after posting this character, I was like, he's going to work in private equity. And then I didn't realize that there were so many people that worked in private equity, and that, I mean, I do know that, also there is a lot of money there. So there's a lot of people who, have kind of like maybe from just conversations, maybe stumbled into like a very lucrative position in the PE world and like just started like printing money. So it's different than like a guy who works in retirement planning. Like I was like, so I think I luckily stumbled upon the idea of giving him this kind of job. And yeah.
Sorry, let's get that going. Come on. So you go to weddings. You're a good looking guy. Can't imagine you're going to weddings alone. Maybe you are going to weddings alone. Maybe you're a wedding crasher. Is that the gig?
No, honestly though, I've had some people say to me, will you come to our wedding as PE guy? And I'm like, I can't, so it's a filter, obviously. So I'm like, I can make you a video that you can put it up on the, on the green screen or on the big screen at your wedding. But I've never, I've never wanted to go to more weddings. So no, I'm not a wedding crasher. I'm not looking to deal with more weddings in my life.
Because, I mean, people, if you think about it, weddings are similar to business. You get stuck at tables a lot of times with people you don't really even know, or distant cousins and family members. Unless you're part of the immediate wedding, it's a craps game of who you're going to sit with, right? So same thing in business. And it's funny, I didn't know what PE was 10 years ago, and I fell into it myself. I had no clue these guys have funds, and it's funny money, and they're dealing with other people's money, and they go out and they buy these businesses. Now I sold 6 of them, right? And for a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
But what are the conversations? I'm just curious because I got my take on what a lot of these PE guys are like, right? Because clearly I'm not one, but people think I'm one. What's the personality trait of these PE guys that are investing in these? What are they like? Are they everyday people? Or are they
So they are. I would say a lot of them are. My brother-in-law's in private equity. I have a lot of friends who are in private equity who are pretty normal and like live normal lives and they whatever. But then there is the extreme, like with any comedy, like character, it's the extreme version of that person. So the extreme version is the guy who's just like insufferable to be around because he wants to tell you about his most recent deal, even if you're a fitness instructor and it's like speaking Chinese to me, but he wants to tell me his whole spiel and how much money he's made. And I'm like, and obviously that's not, just private equity people. You can get like a big law guy who talks like that. But the PE guys specifically, there are a lot of like successful PE guys, I think, and younger ones who are like talking in a way that to me, I was always like, I was kind of raised just like, you don't really talk about money. But these guys are like, yeah, like we're printing at work. And I'm just like standing there, like, I work at a fitness studio. I'm not like, what do you want me to do? Say I'm also printing or give you a high five? Like so it's just this, like the extreme version of this guy is like, or this girl is like, totally unself-aware. It's not even a term, not self-aware, and making too much money for their own good, probably. And there is an angle of like potentially in some ways off of the backs of hardworking people, like talking about like mom and pop dental practices, like they're like, oh yeah, these guys don't know what they're doing, and we just made them sign, and they think it's great for them. We're just going to reduce their head count, and like, their supplies, we're going to like ruin their supply budget, and we're going to make them just print, like that kind of angle. So that's obviously the extreme, but there are the everyday nice guys. My brother-in-law is one of them, who work in PE, who are not like so not self-aware or evil.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of PE guys I know, 99% of them are great guys. Listen,
Yeah.
they grew up different than me. I mean, most of these guys are Ivy School educated, military backgrounds, officers, finance degrees, which is common sense, I think, at this point, right? Maybe not common sense. I guess maybe that's me actually speaking out of turn. I think the majority of PE guys don't come in with that intent of ever. The human capital is the biggest thing they're buying, right? They want the employees. That's a myth. I mean, that's really a myth. Like, we're to come in and start decreasing headcount. That's the last thing all the PE guys I've ever sold to is they actually hire. And listen, do some companies get rebranded and fall like Cherry, right? Went to it, and this is where it's common, right? Like Bachmann Roofing just got sold to Vertex, and they're changing names to Bachmann Roofing because Bachmann Roofing is such a strong name. They're saying, okay, well, we're just going to put it under one now, so that's their philosophy. Some people say, let's go have a lot of different brands in the same marketplace and compete with each other. So there's no wrong or right, but I mean, the job for any business, and I think you said you work at Barry's, right? Barry's used to be called Barry's Boot Camp. They dropped the boot camp because it's scaring people, but it's Barry's, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And Barry's is, I believe, also a franchise, correct?
It's not anymore. They did that for a little bit, and then they bought them all back, and they are owned by two private equity firms.
There you go. Right. And their job is to make money, scale, and they'll wind up selling that eventually to another private equity. I mean, that's
Right.
how it works. Like your brother-in-law, I'm sure told you, they're going to get their EBITDA to a certain number, their memberships up to a certain number, locations up to a certain number. And they're going to say, okay, now it's time for us to go. We invested our money. We squeezed. I mean, I don't want to, and people, I don't think the word squeeze, I know your comedy skits are pretty funny because you're watching someone say in the office, you're laughing. And I don't want to be one of your main things, but I'm funny I'm going to be. But
You will not, promise. Don't worry.
you know what I mean? But I don't think squeezing is such a bad word because I'm always trying to squeeze the most out of my money. And I hope that doesn't come off bad. I want everyone to eat. I want everyone to have a good life. I want to be generous. I want to have an abundance mindset, but I also want to be financially responsible that the whole house of cards don't come crashing down
Right.
because I'm not doing things the right way.
Yeah.
I think that's where PE groups really that are good at what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the guys you're talking to, do they do that? 'Cause I know they're bringing you in now to do comedy skits to bust on them. Making fun of themselves, which I think's ironic and funny.
Yeah. Well, so I should say, it's really, it's not like again, it's the extreme examples in the skits that are like, it's kind of like a commentary on the fact that like PE, there are no limits. Like private equity could own everything. And that's like, is it good? Is it bad? It's up to you to decide. I mean, it's like maybe in some cases it's not great for the oral hygienist who's worked at the family dental office for 30 years, but maybe it's great for the dentist who sold to PE, or maybe it's great for the PE for it. No.
What's your thoughts? Be honest. What's your thoughts?
So the other thing is I'm not an authority on the matter, so I just kind of stumbled into this. So I have no fucking clue, and I'm sorry if I can't.
Because you're more an authority than most people, believe it or not. Because most
Yeah.
people, you're seeing it from a different lens.
Right, right. Well, I've met a lot. So I would say that what's based on my very limited interactions with people and conversations, it can be a great thing. It also might need there might need to be some sort of I don't know, regulation around it someday. Like, what if private equity owns everything? Is that a problem? I don't really know. But specific examples of
I think private equity is going to own everything one day, for the most part.
yeah, well, and that yeah, maybe. I have no idea. I literally have no.
Thinking about this, I think of all companies back in 2020, 2019, private equity owned like 17%. Now it's up to like 29%. We're in 2025. They're saying
Right.
by 2030, it's going to be 60% of all companies will be held by private equity.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I don't know if it's I don't know. See, I don't know if that's I don't think it's a problem. I think that they're like anything. There's pros and cons. So I don't know. Like, again, I don't have enough. My only kind of commentary on it is, like when my dog's, when the vet office gets rolled up by PE, and then
that's already being done. That's already being done.
oh yeah, that's
Most of them already are.
and so things like that, and things like medical practices like that is where I get a little speak out.
Your dentist isn't even your dentist. He's just the guy the truth out. Like,
right.
this is like when we went to the dentist as kids. That's the machines now, all of them.
Exactly. And so that to me is I don't know whether it's just a hanging on to the way that things used to be, and it's and it's just the way the world is headed, and it's just it is what it is. But when you can't get your doctor on the phone or someone to call you back unless you owe them a bill, that's kind of it gets a little slimy at some point to me. That's what it feels like to me when you're all right, I can't, and the dentist office is we're now open on Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And I'm I know, I bet you are. I bet you are. Yeah. Cause someone was hey, if you opened for 2 hours on Sundays. So at some point, it just, and I understand it's everybody's, and I am not, believe me, I am not anti make money. Believe me, with this whole Instagram thing, I am I can be bought. People are will you do an ad for us? And I'm a 90-second ad. I'm I can be bought. I get it. I am not at all, because some people in my comments are a little anti-capitalist, take down the rich man. And I'm that is not what I'm here for. But I am here for obviously the surface level, it's funny, but then the deeper conversation of hey, is this runaway train? Is it bad? Is it okay? What if private equity owns 80% of everything in 20 years? What is it? I don't know.
This BlackRock, I mean, ChatGPT real fast. What percentage of all homes in the last 5 years were bought by BlackRock? Yeah, BlackRock, all these companies are buying everything, and people don't realize what they do. They go into a development. That is what you think. What happens is they go into a brand new place that's being built. It's building 100 homes. Before any homes even bought, they buy 3 of them or 4 of them in cash, and they set the comp, right, of the whole entire thing. Then they buy the whole thing, and then they resell the whole, or they rent them out. So there's these guys have a way. They're smart people, and they're going to beat the system every single time of what the average person just isn't going to compete with. But the thing is, this is with education becomes power, right? I don't believe in school the way other people do. I think, you get the same education in a library, like that movie Good Will Hunting, right? Where he says, right? But I do believe the social parts come out of school. But the point I'm trying to make to you is I educated myself, through the process over the last 7, 8 years, and it was life-changing to my family. And I believe the private equity firms I all sold to were good people. They're coming. That's not changing. No one's stopping that, right? How many?
So
over 15 million single family homes.
They own over 15 million single family homes in America right now.
Yeah.
Just think about it. BlackRock owns over 15 million family homes in America. What's that going to look like 10 years from now, 15 years from now? Right? I mean, and I just believe you're going to see more PE, more PE, more PE.
Yeah.
I don't think you can stop it. And, do I think?
By the way, that is not my that is not my intention.
No, I'm not saying it is. We're just talking. We're just shooting the shit here. So how's it for you working at a PE firm? Because you do work at one.
Yeah, well, so that, for example, is it's different than what it used to be. I'm like trying to I'm like, where's the PR person? No, I feel like free. I feel open enough about this. I used to work at SoulCycle also, and I still work at SoulCycle. I teach one class a week, but
Out of Texas, they were my old client. SoulCycle that was out of Texas.
well, they're everywhere. They're nationwide. I mean, they're in London too, but yeah.
But the headquarters was out of Texas. The guy that originally found them, I'm pretty sure.
No, they're in New York. Yeah, they're in the West. Their headquarters in West Village, New York.
Maybe me and Bill met them. It's where you go into the dark room and you ride the bike, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were my client like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, when they were just starting.
Yeah, with Julie and Elizabeth, the founders.
It's unbelievable that we're having this conversation. Me and Bill flew to them. We were down in Texas. They were down there for something. I think they were opening up down in Texas, and the founders were there. And we did all the digital marketing for them for about 2 years. But they were growing so fast.
Yes.
Like, we were just... I'm assuming he's sold by now, right?
Well, so it was two female founders. It started in 2008, maybe? No, 2006, perhaps. And they started the company. They sold it to Related in 2016. So then Equinox owned and still owns SoulCycle. And the two founders exited for $90 million each. And which was amazing. But they're thrilled. So and it was fine. But what you did start to see was because I was there right before they exited, and the instructors were treated really well. We got paid very well, and we had benefits, and then, like you said, there's a tightening of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem with that being that reason that can be a problem, or was a problem to me, was I was hired under different pretenses. I was hired under the, I'm going to do so. And obviously the answer to that, if you're the leader in the business, is if you don't like it, leave. And that always has been the answer at these places. They're we don't care, and they don't give a shit really. But you're hey, I'm doing this thing. I
wouldn't say that they don't give a shit. That people misconfuse giving a shit to is, if you're going to work here, I have to do what's best for the majority, not the minority. And I got to do what's best for my shareholders. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business, and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business, so when they want to sell it, they're able to. So I've been in these rooms when some of these decisions are made. I'm a family-owned, operated business. We just went through our holiday schedule, right? So Wednesday night, Thanksgiving, we're shutting down. Everyone works from home. Most companies don't do that, right?
Right.
We literally, Christmas Eve, everyone works from home. Black Friday, everyone's off. Christmas on a Thursday. And my CEO is it's 3 full days plus the weekend. It's 5 full days off, which is a lot, right? To have during when you're growing companies. And I just said, Bill, the luxury I have is I don't have any investors. I can make that decision and think with my own pocket. I'm a father. I want to be with my kids.
Yes.
All these people want to be with their kids, and hopefully they appreciate it. They can't make that decision when they're reporting to investors. I'm not sticking up for them. It's just
no. You're right. You're totally. I mean, the person who's having that conversation with me is a talent manager that's right above me, and that there's 15 people above that. So I get that. They're just at the mercy of of the decisions of the people who are higher up, and I totally get that. But so to answer a long story short, you can feel the tightening. You can feel the emphasis on the numbers, which and in these boutique fitness classes and stuff, it becomes a little bit they're like, how can we get more people to come to your class? And some points you're like, why, like I can only do so much. We can't will more people into this. This is a crowded space. Fitness is a very crowded. It's not, I would never want to own a fitness studio or be a part of anything that had to do with one, because it's like so up and down, and it's not, obviously not pandemic proof. And it's like, um, but I think that there's a huge emphasis on numbers, which makes it like, it's a very casual job. Like you're not curing cancer. You're teaching a fitness class. So it's kind of like, it should be fun. You're listening to music, whatever. But there are conversations sometimes where you're like, you don't really pay me enough to like sit around and figure out why, like how to get more people into the room, because that's their goal. But like you said, there's people at the top that are like, hey, numbers dipped by 3% last month. Like, so what are you doing? And then it trickles down.
Well, they're looking at memberships, number one.
Right.
Right. I know if I was running the fitness, I never have, but I look at this, say, okay, who's signing up the most memberships? What time of day? Right. Because it's all done. Right. Where's our leads coming from? Where's our highest lead intake volume? What's our speed back to lead? Meaning, do we get them in? Do we give them a free week? Give them a free day pass? Are we converting those passes? Who's our best salespeople converting those passes? Once we get them into a class, is there any connection of what trainers are having the highest sign up rate after they do train, right? Because listen, my friend Tony Bria owns a hip place, and man, I was in way better shape when I was going to him. I just thought about that. Fuck, I get back to Tony. But I moved. But I can tell you this: when he was in the room, and like I felt like his whole job was to make me work. Like there's just some days, like I went to Tony honestly because he beat the shit out of me. Like there would be no like, oh, you're Lance Bachmann, you get the off switch. No, it's, yo, Lance, don't be lazy. Your wife doesn't want to see you fat. Pedal harder.
Yeah.
And guess what Lance would do? Like a little dog. Like I'd be
pedal hard.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd want to get up and leave class early. He'd be at the door and he'd be like, no, you're not leaving early. Get back. Like, and I think that's really what an instructor's job is to do. If I'm correct, I see it. But those things are going to correlate to people signing up, people coming back. And some people might not like that too. Full transparency. That's me, right? I mean,
no, yeah.
And like,
everyone go inside.
Yeah. But they're looking at those metrics of how many people are signing up out of your class. I mean, did they ever talk to you about that and have that conversation, Johnny?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the thing though, that, it's like, it becomes a little bit like you're kind of like, you get those things and you're like, you get the reports and you're like, oh, okay, all right. Cause to me, more people in the room is like, what are you going to do? Do I get more ownership in the company? I don't have ownership. It's really hard to motivate.
They pay you more for having more?
You get like a little more. I mean, they make it very difficult. It's like a little bit more. So it's not like you are incentivized to fill your classes, obviously, but not to a point where you're like, oh, let me like really, like, I'm going to like dig into this and figure it out. So it's like, to me, I'm just like this, it's like it's become a little bit like, it's hard to get the buy-in from people that they used to get from people, is my point. Where like before, and obviously it was like the boutique fitness space was new and they were trying to figure it out, but and they probably overpaid people. And they set a false like standard, but now it's like, basically how I deal with that is I'm just like, I'm not participating in a conversation about like what else I can do. I'm going to show up, I'm going to post that I'm teaching. And if that's not enough, like I can go, or, like I just like, this should be fun. And I am not going to like try to figure out, cause there's so many factors at play when it comes to something like this. I know we're kind of like down a rabbit hole of fitness.
No, because that's all, but listen, they have the metrics though, just so you understand. They have the metrics of who your best sales reps are going out to houses, what your best close rates are. They have your best technicians, what they're closing, what they're selling. Everything's is numbers. I mean, people say, what do you mean, Lance? Everything is numbers. Your social security is a number. Your birthday is a number. Your IQ is a number. Your weight's a number. The food you eat has all the numbers on the side of the box. Like, name one thing in your life that's not a number. Just name one thing. Just think of one thing that's not a number. Give me something, I'll tie a number to it. Just give me something.
Just relationships with people.
how long you've been with them, how long you've known them.
Yeah, it's a good point. You're right. You're right. No, I totally get it.
So that's all these guys do, and that's why I talk about financial literacy. I do got a question for you though, because you got a great personality. You definitely shoot
Thank you.
straight. When you're going in these classrooms, right? Do these people know you're the PE guy and that you built this whole brand online?
Yes.
So
Yes, a lot of them do. I would say a lot of them do. And then I have some people who are like, I'm here because I saw you on Instagram. Like I saw you post that you're going to teach today. So that's kind of cool.
yeah. Now let's talk about your following because it grew fast. How many followers did you have before you became really the PE guy? Be honest.
7,000 on March
7,000.
March 25th or whatever is the first time I posted. And I remember being like, I posted and then the next day it had like 100,000 views and I was like, what? And this is on Instagram Reels. And I was like, all right, that was a fluke, you know? And a couple of days later, I did it again in character and it did it again. And then it just started to and it spun out of control within 2 weeks, maybe. I was gaining 1,000 followers a day. It felt like. And it felt like the algorithm, I always say this, it felt like the door opened up and the algorithm was like, okay, come on in. And you're in. And then it was like, but don't screw this up. There's this kind of trash compactor is the algorithm just chomping. And it's it gets hungrier and hungrier. And I'm just throw something at it every 2 days. And it's like, okay, then it comes back and it wants more. And I'm like, but the beauty of it is that I love doing it and it's very easy. You know, the conversation we just had for the last 10 minutes, whatever, is that is the deepest you can go with this whole conversation, you know, but then there's this surface level, I'm going to go make a really dumb video where I pretend I'm in Amagansett and I am just here I am in Amagansett. And I talk about it with this authority and it's just wonderful. And then people are going to comment you're not in Amagansett. You don't know Amagansett. There wouldn't be birds that sound like that in Amagansett, you know, just it's gonna
Yeah.
so it's so simple and fun for me. And it's been great. So it's 7,000, long story short, 7,000 in March of this year.
That's insane to me. I mean, what's it done for your brand? Because listen, you are a business. I mean, once again, you're making money off of this. You are making money off of it. People are hiring you. People are paying you to do things. People are paying you for appearances. What's it done for your brand? Are you married or single?
I'm married. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. You seem like you're in too good a shape and good looking to be married. That's all right. And I mean, what's your wife think about? I'm just kind of curious. What's your wife say about?
This is the shock to the world. It's that I am married to a man. So I do not have a wife, which is
He's just dropping bombs over here.
which is
No, I mean,
oh, that's okay. This is your exclusive. Because nobody knows that really, which I it's not a shame thing. I really, but it's more just my character has a wifey and 3 kids and everyone's like, where's wifey? And I'm like, I can't show you wifey.
I mean, this guy, you just hit me with a sucker punch. I mean, I don't care. My sister's gay. I mean, that's not a big deal. I mean, it explains why you're so good looking. I've always said this, gay people are the best I've ever seen.
Thank you. You can say please, you can say that to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I say it's I'm always man, I'm is he gay? He's so good looking. Because when I ran Bash, it was a nightclub and we had gay night on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And these guys walk in, and I was so young and naive. You gotta remember, this is 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
And you're a macho bravado guy. You think all good looking guys should be straight, and and then you see gay party on a Sunday night, and these guys are walking with their shirts off. They got 8-packs. They're ripped.
12 tasks. Yeah.
All right, those ladies just came out of the movie Spartacus. You're
yeah.
really?
It's wild. I do not have an 8-pack. It is wild. I don't have an 8-pack, but a lot of people do that are, yeah. It's nuts. Yeah, no, that's the thing.
No one knows that, but now everybody knows.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, some people, if you scroll far enough on my Instagram, you'll see, but it's not really, it's also just I think it's hilarious because people will always DM me and be like, what's your wife think about this? And I'll just be like, well, my husband. And they're like, whoa, had no idea.
Well, what does he think? What's your husband's name?
Justin.
Justin. What's Justin doing? What's Justin think of this?
He is an oral surgeon and hence the
Is he owned by private equity?
no. But he knows a lot of people that are. He's an oral surgeon. He loves this. I think like he's a little bit. I think he kind of. I jokingly say that I think he thought I was finished contributing financially to the household when I started doing fitness full time. Like he was like, oh, okay, you know. And then this is kind of taken off, and he's like, wow, like this is like actually like this is you doing what you've always done, which is like kind of act like a fool and like and try to make people laugh and making money off of it. So he's happy about it. But the oral surgery world, like they are all the DSOs, the dental, like those, a lot of them are getting purchased by private equity. And I think that what's there's like not a backlash. So this probably is my first like foray into private equity, is hearing from him and people that he's trained with about private equity coming in and buying oral surgery practices, because what it's done is it's like they've created it like a very an impossible in certain markets. If you're in Boston, and I'm making this up, say you're in Boston and there are 10 oral surgery practices, 8 of them are owned by private equity. I'm making this up. 8 are owned by private equity. The 2 others that are not are like, it feels like it's only a matter of time before they're 60 and they want to retire. And the only place that's going to buy them for like a massive multiple is a private equity company. So, it feels they're a little bit like a lot of those people in that world are like, we need to protect like dental practices and oral surgery practices from this happening, because it makes it impossible for you to leave dental school or leave oral surgery residency and go, I'm going to open my own practice. Well, how are you going to do that and compete with a company that's owned by Blackstone, basically, like a firm that, you know, like, because they're just going to keep. So that's where it gets a little, you know, dicey. And nobody wants to come out of 10 years after he graduated from college and then went to dental school and medical school and residency. It was 10 years. And nobody wants to come out of that and make what you're going to, because they're going to bring you in as an associate and put you here. And you never will get to like where you would back in the day when the private equity wasn't involved in the oral surgery practices as much. Because it was like, there's 2 partners at the practice and they are sharing, you know, 50% of the collections and the rest is going back into the business. Now, obviously it's like, you know, say 3 partners get purchased by private equity and there's 2 associates. Those associates will never be a partner. They'll never see the buyout money that the partners, you know, received. So that also has kind of colored by. That's why I was bringing up the dental practices. Like that whole thing is different, because it's like the medical thing is, especially to see it happening in, you know, to his in his world so much. Like his goal is to own a practice, not to work for a private equity company that owns a practice.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, I know a few dentists that all sold. So, I mean, but you still listen, there's always going to be a place for someone to build a small business in America, but
Yep.
they're going to have to just be smarter about it. They're going to have to use technology, systems, processes. The days of saying I'm a dentist are done. You got to be a businessman if you're going to own the practice.
No, totally. Yeah.
Like
No,
that's just,
and that's so, but yeah, long story short, that's why I was harping on the dental thing. And he thinks that the private equity character, he enjoys it. He thinks it's good shit.
yeah, I want to ask you this question. I don't want to take up too much of your time. What metrics do you look at when you're producing content?
So after it's produced and posted,
Yeah. Mhm.
the views. So I'm pretty much on Instagram. Like that's where most of the stuff happens. So the views, and then the views versus, and I don't like to look at like a rate, but or like a percentage, but the views versus like the engagement on it. So comments, likes, you know, like, is it being engaged with a lot? Is it being viewed a lot? Like views are great, but if it's got like really low engagement, that's kind of like, okay. But I love when there's a lot of comments and a lot of likes and views. So the views is kind of a big thing for me. And I wish I wasn't as interested in that, because I'll post something like different. For example, like I'll just like, instead of being in front of a green screen and putting a background on, I'll do something like where I'm standing in my kitchen, like yelling at my kid Tarantino. And I'm like, that was funny, or that was different. And then I'll post it and I'll be like, whoa, like I'm looking at how it's performing, and it's instead of doing this, it's doing this. I'm like, so what I'm saying is I don't want to look at stuff like that and have it like curb my creativity and go like, oh no, Johnny, stick with the green screen thing. Like you can get stuck in a world where you're like, I'm not going to go outside of this because the algorithm says I should be doing this right now. So every once in a while, I'll step outside and do something a little bit different and see what happens. And not tie like the worth of everything to like a metric. But to answer your question, engagement views are important to me.
What's the biggest tool that you use for content creation that you can't live without?
The filter, the face filter. But it's not as relatable to other people. The face filter is very helpful for this character. But in terms of other tools, I use CapCut a lot. I don't know if you use CapCut.
Yeah. Yep.
CapCut is very, very helpful and important. And I'm not too like in the weeds with like the insights on Instagram right now. So I don't use those tools. Like I could live without those basically. Right now, it's the filter and CapCut.
What's the biggest thing? Last question for you, if somebody wants to go build a brand online like you did, what's the number one piece of advice you'd give them?
I candidly, I have to say, like, I kind of stumbled into this. This happened by accident a little. But my answer, just based on like talking to other creators, is because I had something go viral, but I had to maintain it. So starting from scratch is obviously much harder, and I want to like acknowledge that I kind of just got like lucky in a lot of respects. But I would say like just remaining consistent and not like holding yourself to okay, that only got 1,000 views, but my one from last week got 200,000. Like, what's wrong? Like, maybe I should stop doing this. So consistency, and that's something that I practice all the time. Like I post you'll see 4 reels from me a week, like no matter what, no matter if I'm on vacation, like I will always do that. And that's to maintain like the growth that I've seen. But in order to get there from nothing, I think that that's what it takes too. And just like putting your head down and not listening to people who don't do what you want to do. Because there's a lot of people who are like, isn't this like gonna get old? Like in the beginning, after 3 weeks, you're like, isn't this gonna get old? You should probably like not. And I'm like, I'm making a lot of money right now. And I am so glad I didn't listen to people who were like, this is gonna get old. Because I wouldn't be here.
Just remember this, Johnny. How old are you?
36.
Best piece of advice I ever heard someone say. It's one of the best pieces. 2 types of people in life. There's the people that are actually in the game. They're out on the field playing, whatever that is, whether it be you're wrestling or you're playing football, business. And then there's the other type that are sitting there watching, and they're coaching from the sidelines, and they're saying all the wrong shit, and they never were out there. And, I think about it all the time. There's 2 types of people. People that are actually doing, and there's people that never done, but they're going to tell you how to do it. Yeah. And so for me, it's really, really crazy. I don't even listen to people unless you've done it and you've been successful and you actually gone through it. And that's why I want you on this podcast. You built an awesome brand. I love the way you built your brand. You went viral fast. I mean, I knew you had great growth very fast on Instagram, where that applies to businesses if you're doing what Johnny does out there, and this is a different podcast we had on here, but I want you on here because if you can build your own personal brand, that's just as important as a business brand. I think it's very important for people to understand. So I want to thank you for being here, brother. I wish you the best of luck. And tell Justin I said hi. If I'm ever up in Boston, I need some dental work. He's my guy.
Yes. Thank you, Lance. Yeah, this was awesome.
No problem. Everybody, River Process Conference is selling out. Elite VIPs, we're down to 3 left. VIPs, we're almost 90% sold out. Marco Island, December 3rd through 5th. Get your ticket. Look forward to seeing you there. Nice talking to you, brother. Nice seeing you.
Love that. Nice talking to you, Lance. Thank you so much.